Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I am back to bring you 15 more awesome movies that you've never seen. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so I felt like I needed to do a couple of follow-ups, like part 2 and part 3 in this series. Part 1 did so great, and people like responded to it so well, and it was so much fun to do that I thought, hey, we need to do another one of these, and probably two, because when I made the original list, well, let's just say it was hard to cut it down to 10 because I had so many really good movies that I feel like are overlooked and kind of forgotten about. Maybe people have seen them, but or heard of them, but they're not ones that are talked about a lot. And a lot of times you mention them to someone, or I'll mention them to someone, and they're like, what movie is that? I've never heard of that. So if it's a movie like that, or something that I remember from being a kid or whatever that you just don't hear talked about, you probably will find it on this list, but hey, it has to be awesome. All right, so this time I have 15 with 2 honorable mentions because I just couldn't narrow it down. So we really have 17 here, and in full disclosure, I do not have all of these movies on physical media, but these are all movies on my list to pick up. So if you know where to get the best versions of these, drop it in the comments and let me know, because I don't have all of them. All right. Without any further, let's go ahead and get after it here on this list. And I am going to start with one that I do have that I have talked about a couple of times before on my channel, and that is My Week with Maryland. I have mentioned this film a couple of times before. I think it's a fantastic film. It is based on a true story. This is a double Oscar-nominated film, a low budget. It's like, I think we are looking at 2011 with this film. And it's just really kind of movie that I'm surprised got made then, and it really doesn't get made now. It stars Michelle Williams as Marilyn Monroe, and it's based on a true story, memoirs of one of the characters in the film, played by Eddie Redmayne, who his name is Colin, and I can't ever remember Colin's last name. But he actually wrote a memoir. He worked on a film, The Prince and the Showgirl, with Marilyn Monroe and Sir Laurence Olivier, and Kenneth Branagh plays in this as Sir Laurence Olivier, and Branagh may have directed this. Nope, Simon Curtis. Sorry, Simon. But this is a really great film, and I enjoy it. It is it just has she has an outstanding performance in this film. I'm a big Marilyn fan, and it's just one that I don't hear people talk about a lot. It is a really good film. It covers her affair with this guy who worked as like the third AD on the movie. And it's a week. It says My Week with Marilyn, but actually, if you read his memoirs, it kind of went on for like a month of shooting. But at least until whenever her husband, playwright Arthur Miller, wasn't around. But anyway, very good movie, underrated, and just an outstanding performance by Michelle Williams. It also stars, like I said, Kenneth Branagh, Eddie Redmayne, Emma Watson, who plays Hermione Granger, is in this. Judi Dench is in this. It is a loaded film and a very good one. All right, so on to one that I do not have on any type of physical media. It's kind of a funny one. My Demon Lover. And this is a film. This is like an old goofy B movie that I remember my dad watching when I was a kid. This is Scott Valentine. And I believe that Kino Lorber, it's either Kino or Scream Factory, maybe Scream Factory, as a matter of fact, does have a Blu-ray of this now. And it's basically Scott Valentine plays a homeless musician, I believe it is. And he has this affliction, which is every time he gets sexually aroused, he turns into a demon. And of course, he falls in love with a woman. He's trying to tell her what's happening. And then there is another bad guy sort of demon that has the same affliction, but he's turned, kind of evil. It's comedy, got a little bit of horror in there. It's just one of those lot of fun B movies. It's kind of like a horror rom-com, if there is such a thing. But it's pretty fun. I don't have I think it's only available in Blu-ray. I don't have it. I'm probably going to check and see if it's Scream Factory or Kino. I think it might be Scream Factory. And pick that one up. I suggest you pick that one up. It is a lot of fun and just one that I remember from being a kid that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. All right. Another one that I don't have that I remember. This one came out in 1994. You see me checking off my list here. 1994. And this is sort of an action comedy. Almost reads as like a buddy cop type thing. But it is The Cowboy Way, starring Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland. And they are supposed to be, I believe I can't remember if they're brothers or they're cousins in the movie. And they're cowboys. And the guy that raised them, he is paid to have his daughter smuggled into the country, I believe is what it is. And she's in New York and she's being held like kind of ransom, and he goes and looks for her and they kill him. And the two guys are very like, Texas cowboy type thing. And they're going to the big city, to New York, to try to hunt down the killer and take matters into their own hands and find the girl and save her. And absolute hilarity ensues. I think Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland are great in this. There is an awesome part in a fancy New York steakhouse that cracks me up every time when the snooty waiter asks them how they want their steaks. Just wipe its nasty old ass, knock its horns off, and put it down on the plate. I really like this movie. It's one that I just don't hear talked about. Ernie Hudson's also in this movie. Luis Guzman, I think that's his name, is also in this movie. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces in this movie. So if it's one that you've forgotten about or one that you've never seen, check that one out. It is an absolute lot of fun. All right, next up on our list is another one that I do have on physical media. And this is an interesting one because I imagine there is a portion of the viewers out there that have seen this and love it. And then I feel like I never hear it talked about, especially when you start talking about gangster movies or mafia movies or what. I hear Goodfellas talked about. I hear movies like, obviously Godfather, Godfather 2. I hear Heat talked about. I hear all these different movies talked about. One that I never seem to hear talked about, and I don't know if it's just been forgotten or what, but is 1997's Donnie Brasco. And this stars Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. It's got, it's a loaded cast. You have Bruno Kirby is in this. You have Michael Madsen in this, James Russo, Anne Heche. It is pretty loaded. It's based on a true story of Johnny Depp plays an FBI agent who infiltrates the mob. Al Pacino vouches for him, brings him into the family. He's supposed to be under deep cover for like 3 months, and he ends up being in there for years and years. And he doesn't want to come out because he doesn't want Al Pacino to get killed. And he's so tied up in there, and he has to do things that, aren't great. And it's really real. These two, the performances in here, Al Pacino's like a father figure to Johnny. They are incredible in this movie. And I don't know why I don't hear about this one talked about more, but I really like Donnie Brasco a lot. It is like one of my go-to. You see this? I love this. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is the only copy I have. I definitely need to upgrade if there's an upgrade out there. I bought this used, previously viewed many years ago from Hollywood Video. Great movie, Donnie Brasco, incredible performances there. Okay, the next one is one that I am shocked at myself that I don't have. And I don't know why I don't have this movie, because this is one of my sleeper all-time favorite, make you think, great twists, beautifully acted, shot, everything type of movie. And I am talking about Frailty with Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey and Powers Booth. And this movie is incredible. It is actually directed by Bill Paxton, and I believe this is 2001. Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at, 20, almost 25-year-old movie at this point. But the way the twists of this movie are insane. Like, this is very much like a horror, thriller, mystery, intense, dramatic film. Like, I don't even know what category you would classify it in, but Bill Paxton is a single father to two, because he also stars in the film. He's a single father to two boys, and he's good, salt to the earth, just average, hardworking guy. And then he has a vision, or he says he has a vision from God telling him that he's been selected to kill demons. And he tells his boys about this. And he has one boy that doesn't believe him and one boy that does believe him. And he says that he's going to be given a list of demons to take out of this world by God, or by God's messenger. And he's going to be given the ability to lay hands on these people. And when he does, he's going to be able to see them for what they are and see what they have done. And, he gets a list, and it just seems like it's just people, right? And I'm not going to give everything away, but it is not what you think it is. Things happen in a way that you would never suspect. This is an increase. If you hear how excited I am, like, I need to find the best version of this movie and watch it. Every now and then I'll forget about it, and then I'll watch it, and I'll remember how damn good this movie is. I absolutely love Frailty. Incredible performance by McConaughey. Incredible performance and directorial job by Bill Paxton. Absolutely great film. So underrated. We lost Bill Paxton way too early. I love Bill Paxton. Matthew McConaughey's great. Powers Booth, we lost him too early too. He's very intense in this. It is an absolutely good movie that will twist and turn and keep you guessing. Frailty, if you have not seen it, stop what you're doing, find it, watch that damn movie. It is good. All right, to lighten it up a little bit, on to the next one is, well, this is one that I don't have either, but this is one that I loved as a kid, and it stars James Belushi. It has Michael Caine starring. Renee Russo is in this movie. She's gorgeous in this film. It has Linda Hamilton, and it is basically, it's a comedy. It's a comedy, but it is basically a comedic and updated retelling of It's a Wonderful Life. In a lot of ways, that's exactly what it is. James Belushi plays, your average everyman going through a midlife crisis. And he thinks his life, he would have everything he wants. He would have everything would be perfect if he could go back to this point in high school in this championship baseball game. And if he'd have hit a home run and won the game instead of like striking out, that his whole life would have been different. It would have been everything that he wanted it to be. Instead, it's, all these different things happen, and he's married and he's happy, but he would have had more. So he meets Mr. Destiny, played by Michael Caine, who's an angel of some sort, and he gives him a look at what life would have been like if it had gone the other way. It is absolutely a lot of fun, kind of heartwarming. It's a Wonderful Life, but told in a different way. James Belushi is a lot of fun. This is a great one. Michael Caine is fun. He gives him a drink that starts all this. I believe it's called Spilled Milk, because there's no use crying over it. And it's a really good movie. It's another one. Like I said, if I don't have these on physical media, if I'm not showing them to you right now, I don't have them. And if I don't have them, they're on my list to get because these are films that I love. And what happened is, I think I told the story before, I used to have every one of these movies and then some on VHS. I was convinced to get rid of all my VHS years ago. And these are just films I've never replaced, but I'm on the track now. The next one, I might get some blowback on this. I don't know. I know that there are some big Tony Scott fans out there. Of course, I mean, Top Gun, so many movies by Tony Scott, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Man on Fire, Deja Vu, I believe. Just a lot of movies by Tony Scott. And I hear all those talked about for sure. I hear those. But one I don't hear talked about a lot is The Fan. And I believe that is 1996 is The Fan. It stars Wesley Snipes, Robert De Niro, who's, you can't deny he's a good actor. He's kind of off his rocker these days. But Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes, Benicio del Toro is in this movie. And then, of course, you have Tony Scott directing. And this sets Robert De Niro as a crazy bastard. He is a huge baseball fan. He's obsessed with Wesley Snipes' character. And it's almost like a Fatal Attraction type thing. He's like, it becomes a very like hostage killer situation. He kidnaps, I don't want to give it all away, he kidnaps Wesley Snipes' son. He's just an obsessive nut, right? He is like the most terrifying stalker fan that somebody could ever have that's famous. And it's a pretty intense film. Some of the baseball stuff there's a lot of boo-boos in there, the way it's done and cut together. But that's like so secondary. You're not paying attention to any of that stuff. It is an underrated Tony Scott film. That's why it's on this list, because I hear about all these others. I hear, like I said, Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, all the Denzel movies Tony Scott did. I hear True Romance, all these things. I never hear anybody talk about The Fan. And I don't know if it's just kind of disappeared into a hole somewhere, but it is very intense and definitely worth a watch, especially if you are a Tony Scott fan. The Fan comes in right here. All right, so next up on our list is a sci-fi film. It's like an independent sci-fi film. It's put out by Oscilloscope Laboratories, but it is definitely an indie film. And it is 2013's Coherence. Now, if you've never seen this movie, I really recommend this film. So it kind of deals with parallel dimensions and the many worlds theory and the many dimensions theory. And there's these group of people, they're at a dinner party on a night when a comet is supposed to pass overhead. And this comet passes overhead. And basically what it does is, for a brief time, it opens up all these doorways to all these parallel dimensions. And the people find out basically that there are infinite amount of Earths and there are infinite amount of versions of themselves. And it is very, very interesting, and it becomes intense and violent and scary. And it is a very unique and original concept for a sci-fi film. And what adds to the original concept of this is there is no actual clear script for the movie. There are bullet pointed scenes, right? So what they do is the writer director gave everybody like an overall story. And then for each scene, there's just bullet points of topics that they have to put in, things that they have to say. Not like scripted lines, but like they have to talk about X, Y, or Z. And then everything else is ad-libbed and is off the cuff in character, and they stayed in character. That's very, very cool. And don't let that fool you though. This gets intense. It gets twisted. It makes you think. And it is a really good film. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm not sure about a physical media release of this. I'm looking for one. I know that you can stream it, but I'm looking for a physical media release. It starred, like, the only name of consequence in here that I know is Nicholas Brendan, who, if you're a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, the TV show, he played Xander in that TV show for the, all the years that was on. But like, he's really the only recognizable face to me, but it doesn't matter because the story is so engrossing. Very, very interesting and different sci-fi film. All right. So going back to some that I do have here, next one is another one that I have talked about on my channel a couple of times, made a couple of other lists. And this is 1985's Mischief. I just really like this film. This is it's like a coming of age thing. So it's set in the 1950s, and it stars Kelly Preston and Catherine Mary Stewart, who, from Night of the Comet and all these different kinds of The Last Starfighter. And then, of course, Kelly Preston. And then, like, this is her first big role that I remember seeing her in. And I've talked about it before because this is it was like so unexpected. If you go back and look at Kelly Preston, I mean, she's definitely trying to play like a sexy Marilyn Monroe type figure in here. And it jumps up there quickly. Like, she does a complete nude scene in the movie, but it still ends up being comical. The nude scene ends up being extremely comical and fun. And to me, like, two of the most iconic decades in U.S. history, especially over the last 100 years or so, are the 1980s and the 1950s. Well, this is a 1980s movie that takes place in the 1950s. Very, very cool. There's even like a little spoof shout out. If I hadn't shown it already, the little spoof shout out at the beginning of the trailer, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And then it says Ohio 1959, I think. So it doesn't take itself overly serious, but it is a lot of fun and one that I highly recommend, and just one that I don't hear people talk about all that much. It's so reflective. I was trying to get you to see. I just don't hear people talk about this one all that much. And my friends Lance and Edward, when we were filming a movie, I was telling them all about it. And we came back to my house one night after filming and watched this. And we all just had an absolute blast together and laughed and really enjoyed it. And I think you will too. Okay, next up on our list is a 2012 film. And maybe I'm under a rock. Maybe everybody knows this film. I never hear anybody talk about this film. This film stars Tom Hardy. It stars Shia LaBeouf. It has Guy Pearce. It has Gary Oldman. It has Jessica Chastain. It's based on a true story. And I am talking about Lawless. It is a very good movie. Now, Tom Hardy is like the lead in here. And I think maybe some of the biggest publicity this movie got, unfortunately, was Tom Hardy, kind of slapping around Shia LaBeouf, like during the filming of this, because Shia was hard to deal with at that time. But that's just one of the things a lot of people remember if they have heard of it. Like, oh yeah, that's that movie. But it is a really good film. It's based on a true story of the Bondurant brothers. Bondurant brother. I can't say their name. I can't say it. It's like that Cajun style name. The Bondurant boys. It's based on a book that's a true story. And what it is they were Prohibition era, alcohol runners. They made their own alcohol. They sold their alcohol. They were bootleggers. And this family made quite a name for themselves. And the character Tom Hardy played made a name for himself for being a badass. And basically, nobody would fight him because everybody that he had ever gotten a fight with, he had knocked them out with one punch. And it was like known. Well, Of course, they're dealing with trying to, keep away the revenuer. They're trying to keep away the government and keep them out of their business. And then they're trying to keep away rival factions that are trying to take their business from them. And there's a great scene in this movie that is supposedly true. If you read the book and you listen to the story, where Tom Hardy's character, he gets jumped by a bunch of the guys trying to take his business, and they cut his throat, and he doesn't die because he holds his throat together and holds one hand in his artery, holding his artery together and plugging it, and walks himself to the doctor. That's pretty intense. The whole film is really, really good. It's interesting. It's different. It is star-studded. It's well acted. I'm not really sure, like, if the problems on set caused some of the issues. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's more popular. Maybe it's more popular than I realize. I just never hear anybody talk about it. But it is a really good movie, and one that I highly suggest that you check out. Okay, so the next one up on our list is one that is mind-twisting kind of horror, which is something that I really, really like. And that is, I believe it is 2009. I want to say it's 2009's Triangle. And this stars Melissa George. Like, she's the only name of consequence that I know in the film. And what it is sort of like a parallel dimension time loop horror meets ghost ship movie. This group of friends go out on a boat in the Bermuda Triangle. They find a ghost ship. They go on there. Through twists and turns, the ship is like haunted, but is it haunted, or are there just, it's stuck in between dimensions where the stuff disappears to for the Bermuda Triangle, and it's stuck in this endless time loop where there's an endless number of these people, and time and everything just keeps repeating itself over and over again. It's almost like a hell of being punished over and over and over and over again. Really, really a mind screwer here, and one that will leave you thinking and questioning at the end. And I like Bermuda Triangle type stuff. I like the mystery. I like kind of studying the mysteries of the universe. I'm a History Channel watching guy and stuff like that. I believe in a lot of things I want to know type things. And this is one of those that just sort of makes you think. And I really enjoyed it. It's pretty twisted. So you definitely get your horror vibes. You get your sci-fi vibes. You get your mystery vibes. Like I said, it's sort of like a sci-fi Bermuda Triangle film meets ghost ship. So can't go wrong with that. Check it out. All right. Lightening it up just a little bit here. For the next one is 1999's Blast from the Past. Maybe this stars Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone. It's got Christopher Walken, Sissy Spacek. Really good, fun, funny movie. Kind of a nice, like, unique concept here too. And like, I hear Brendan Fraser, you talk about The Mummy, you talk about like his recent films and stuff like that, but you don't talk about some of his earlier stuff and some of the sort of mid-career stuff. And Blast from the Past is really good. It's sort of like in the set in the Red Scare time, the when we're worried about nuclear war, and Christopher Walken builds a bomb shelter for his family, and he thinks we're being attacked. And so he takes his family and his like 1-year-old kid into this basement. And I can't remember if he's like 1 or if he hasn't been born yet. I can't remember for sure. I think he had just been born. He takes him into his bomb shelter, and it closes, and it's set on a timer. So it won't open for like 30 years. And they're living in this bomb shelter, and eventually it opens, and Brandon Fraser's sent out to get them supplies. They don't know if the world is still here or whatever. And he meets Alicia Silverstone, and it's very fun fish out of water because, the only concept of stuff, he's extremely smart and extremely educated because his dad was like a professor and stuff like that, so, and a scientist, so he knows multiple languages. He know his mom was a dancer, like he knows how to dance, like he knows how to make drink, he knows like everything about everything. But it's 1999 and it's not the 1960s. So it is a fish out of water type thing. And of course, it's a rom-com. It's just a lot of fun and definitely worth a try. I don't hear people talk about it a lot, but if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. You'll come away from it feeling good. It's a nice palate cleanser, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so just a few left here on the list, and this next one is one that is super underrated, in my opinion, and it's a classic story. And Alexander Dumas, I believe's book, The Count of Monte Cristo, extremely well done film. 2002, I believe. Jim Caviezel, again, Guy Pearce popping up again, and a younger Henry Cavill before he played Superman. This is back like around the time that he started doing The Tudors, which is a really good show. This is just, it's very faithful to the book, and just, I mean, it has all that you want. The revenge scenario, everything about Count of Monte Cristo, the prison escape. He finds the treasure, the revenge story of where he was betrayed. I mean, it has these beautiful period sets, and you've got sword fighting and guns, and what else could you want? It is absolutely a perfect retelling. The fact that I do not have this movie, actually, it's up there with Frailty on how much that pains me, and I will rectify that situation. It is one that you should definitely check out. Stellar performances by both Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce, and you could tell, just like in The Tudors, you could tell that Henry Cavill had some star power in him. Now, this is a hot take, but I don't think he's right for Superman. I just don't. To me, Christopher Reeve and Tom Welling are Superman. Come after me if you want to. But it's hard for me to have a 5'11" Superman. It's just, and I love Henry Cavill, loved him in The Tudors, absolutely friggin' loved him in The Tudors, and he's good in this, but Jim Caviezel steals the show, and this movie is very well done. Check out The Count of Monte Cristo. All right, we're coming down to it left, just a few more left, and this next one is one that I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. A nice little action movie. This is 1991. It stars Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Lou Gossett Jr., Denholm Elliott. That is Toy Soldiers. Now, I don't know, like, I never hear anybody talk about this. I mean, you know all about Sean Astin with the Goonies. You know about the other stuff that he's done, Lord of the Rings and things like that, and been in Stranger Things. But this movie kind of plays like a little, teenage action hero. And what this story is about is there is this rich kids school. It's like a all boys prep school. And all the boys that go there, their fathers are rich and the powerful elite. And the school is taken over by terrorists. And eventually it's up to the boys. Sean Astin is the lead in this, and it's up to them to stop these guys because everything is wired to explode. So if anybody tries to come in, the whole the school's going to explode. Everybody's going to die. And this group of kids led by Sean Astin, they're like supposed to be seniors, juniors in high school. They hatch a plan. They fight back. So in that way, it's got a little bit of Die Hard going on in there. But Die Hard with like teenagers and Lou Gossett Jr. is out there. It's just a damn good movie. It's a good action flick. it's hard to imagine Sean Astin as a action hero, but man, he pulls it off in this movie. It is a good movie. I don't even feel like it's really it's no more like it's kind of like Die Hard. And I really don't think you can go wrong with it. I don't hear people talk about it a lot. And I really enjoy the film. I think it's awesome. I always have. I used to watch this all the time because there's something about Sean Astin plays that sort of anti-hero. He's a kid that gets in trouble a lot, all these kind of things. But when it's time to put up or shut up, he's the one that helped lead him out of trouble. And I always kind of dig characters like that. I dig people like that because you can see the goody goodies a mile away and you can see the bad guys a mile away. But the people who are just real and they are themselves, and characters like that are, they're not perfect, but when the time calls for it, they do the right thing. I'm always into those characters. Sean Astin plays that character in Toy Soldiers. Check it out. Okay, last three. And we are going to go to a found footage type film. And this is 2014's Exists. And now I don't know of any actor's name who plays in this movie. I know that the director, I believe, is the same director that directed Blair Witch Project. Now, I'm not huge on found footage movies, even though I've made one. Realm of Souls is sort of like a blend of found footage and a regular, narrative. But this film, I like Bigfoot stories. And this is a Bigfoot story that turns into a horror movie pretty damn fast and pretty intense. And everything about this movie feels real. It feels plausible. It feels intense, and it's scary. And the creature is the Bigfoot that's stalking these people in the woods in like the Northwest United States. They're broke down out there. They have an accident, and the accident actually ties into it. I don't want to give everything away, but it gets pretty violent, scary, and brutal. And the way that it's shot, with the found footage and then maybe some not found footage style, is very effective in this film. And it really stuck with me. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for something, if you like Bigfoot type movies, if you like creature type movies, and if you like found footage, but like done in a real way, not just a bunch of shaky cam shit, Exists, I highly recommend. Very good, very intense film. Okay, final two, I believe we have here. And I am going to go back. I got one physical one left, and I got one that's not. So I am going to go to the one that is not first. And we're going to go back to another Brendan Fraser movie from 1992. I am talking about School Ties. This is it's like a drama. This movie is loaded with talent. You not only have the interesting thing here is you have Brendan Fraser, who is the lead, but you have Matt Damon is like a co-star in this film, and you have Chris O'Donnell as a co-star in this film. And this is before anybody knew who the hell Matt Damon was, because this is before Good Will Hunting. So he was like the other guy in the movie, whereas you had Brendan Fraser and Chris O'Donnell, who were very, very famous at this time. And I'm trying to remember who else is in this movie. Is pretty loaded. Those are the three that they're like sort of key to the film, though. I think maybe Cole Hauser is also in this movie. I can't remember for sure, but it definitely, you're going to see a lot of faces that you recognize. And this movie is set in I believe the 1960s as well. And Brendan Fraser plays a football star, a quarterback, who happens to be Jewish, and he gets but he's very, very smart, but he's very poor. And he gets a full ride athletic scholarship to play football at a private like prep school, a very ritzy prep school. And, but it's like a Catholic school or Christian school, which is very interesting. And, so he comes in, and I think Matt Damon was supposed to be the quarterback. So there's that friction right there. And it's a very good movie. There's some intense things. It covers like the pressures that kids, these kids are under to live up to their rich parents and different things like that. But it's superbly acted. I mean, very, very just great acting, good storytelling. It is one that it flies under the radar. Another one, I feel like this movie flies under the radar. It's another one that people don't talk about, even though it is absolutely star-studded. You just don't hear a lot of people talk about it. School Ties, check it out. Okay, finally, the last one. This one I do have on physical media because I just imported it from Germany, and I purposely left it out of my Turbine haul video because I knew I was going to put it in this one. Now, this one might be one that more people are actually familiar with, but maybe you forgot about it. Maybe you haven't seen it in years, or maybe I just thought it was more popular than it was because I absolutely loved it when I was a kid. I am talking about 1987's Harry and the Hendersons. And I just got this beautiful, absolutely, let me try to hold it where you can really see it. This absolutely beautiful media book here from Turbine. And this is a comedy, if you don't know, stars John Lithgow, and he and his family accidentally encounter and run over a Bigfoot and bring him home, and Harry becomes like one of the family and they love him, and he's he's played by the same guy that played the Predator. Is it Kevin Peter Hall? Who's really tall, big. He plays the Bigfoot, Harry, and Harry is he's a vegetarian. It's funny, but everybody's hunting him. And this is just one of those feel-good movies I love. I think it's funny when they find out that they try to get him to eat cheeseburgers, and he won't eat cheeseburgers because he's a vegetarian, but he will eat fish fillets. So they get him fish fillets. But this is a cool cool media book here from Germany, and this thing was limited to 222 copies. So I'm very happy to have imported this one. It's not one that I see readily available on physical media. It is just a Blu-ray. It's not a 4K. I don't know if a 4K out there exists, but I haven't seen anything like this kind of quality. Look at that. It's so cool. The only bad thing is they put a sticker right here, and I got the sticker off, but I got to get the glue off. Harry and the Hendersons, a great, fun, light way to finish off our list here for the time being, because never fear, I do have part 3 of this coming up soon. So I know that the last time in the comments, everybody's like, no, this movie. And I'm like, shh, don't ruin my next lists. But this is 15, really 17 movies that I think are awesome, that are overlooked. They're worth your time. They are worth another look. Get your ass out there. Check them out. Find them on physical media. And if they're one of the ones I don't have and you know where to get the best version of it, put it in the comments because I am out here looking for them. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And until next time, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture saying be kind, rewind like always. And I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.